The country against Putinization, protests in Georgia. Dictatorships ally Russia and North Korea getting ready, obviously, for the war. Glenn Grant of the British Army answers the questions in an interview for UATV English. Good afternoon. These topics in more detail. My name is Henry Keane and we are UATV English, bringing you the hard truth in easy terms, as usual, for the whole free world, directly from Ukraine. Police have started dispersing protesters that gathered near the parliament for a spontaneous rally in Tbilisi overnight on November 29th. The protest followed a pro-Russian Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze's statement that Georgia's integration into the European Union could be postponed until 2028, prompting outrage amongst some in society who are demanding changes in the country's political course. The ruling Georgian Dream Party-led Kobakhidze has faced accusations of democratic backsliding and steering the South Caucasus country closer to the Kremlin. Earlier this year, the controversial foreign agents law, so to speak, sparked mass protests and violent crackdowns by police, and same and again, police violence. On the backdrop of the European Commission suspended Georgia's EU accession process, highlighting the growing rift between Tbilisi and the West, the protest was organized through social media, and protesters claim the refusal of pro-Kremlin PET party to negotiate accessions to the EU by 2028, setting that a betrayal the country's interests, they say it is, in a violation of Article 78 of the Georgian Constitution, which enshrines the country's aspirations for European integration. Some might ask me, how come, Henry, you call the Georgian Dream Party and its leader Kobakhidze pro-Russian? Maybe they're not. Maybe he is not. Maybe he's all about Georgia and its freedom and sovereignty and independence and human values and blah, blah, blah. What do you know, after all, to be sure, Henry, the Georgian government is Putinized? Well, what can I say? Georgian government told me about it.
There is no Georgian statehood, no independence, no future without Russia on this path. Irakli Kobakhidze, Prime Minister of Georgia.
An awkward point I want to make in regards to Putin's pet Kobakhidze party, Georgian Dream, is that a few minutes after Kobakhidze's fiery speech, in which he announced the suspension of European integration for Georgia, Russian dictator Putin called and expressed his sheer satisfaction and praised the Georgian authorities for their obedience. Oh, sweet, sweet dictator. Russian Defense Minister Andrei Belousov arrived in Pyongyang for an official visit, yes, today, amidst deepening military cooperation between Russia and North Korea. After arriving in Pyongyang, Belousov was greeted by his North Korean counterpart, No Kwang-chol, and members of North Korean military, but shh, it was a top secret. Belousov's visit to Pyongyang comes after Russia's dictator Putin's state visit to hermit country in June, where Russia formally deepened its military and economic cooperation with Pyongyang. Pyongyang is believed to have dispatched over 10,000 troops to aid Russia's war in Ukraine, with the first clashes with Ukrainian forces reported in Kursk Oblast. North Korea has also become Moscow's leading supplier of artillery shells and ballistic missiles. A source with Ukraine's general staff also indicated to Reuters on November 23rd that the majority of North Korean soldiers were finalizing its training, and recent month Russia has focused on regaining territory lost in country's Kursk Oblast following a surprise Ukrainian incursion into the region in August. According to the source in Ukraine's general staff, Ukraine has lost over 40% of the territory it previously gained in Kursk Oblast due to Russian counterattacks, and North Korean cannon fodder is used massively there. NATO believes that Putin is aiming to recapture territory lost in Kursk Oblast, obviously. Before U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration on January 20th, The Telegraph reports about them hoping to gain leverage in future peace negotiations, and this is exactly why Russia needs DPRK, cannon fodder and weapons. You know what is going to actually change if Putin dies tomorrow? Nothing. Because it is not Putin who wages his criminal war against Ukraine in particular and international law and order in general. It's Russia, a nation, and now North Korea with it. Well, what can I say? I wish this world's democratic leaders could half unite same quickly as international thugs do. Glenn Grant, former British Army Lieutenant Colonel and once a soldier, forever a soldier, and a dear friend of Ukraine, quite an expert in military things, is with us tonight. Colonel Grant, sir, hello.
Hello, nice to see you again.
It's nice to see you indeed. Do you know anything about, first of all, that new changes in Ukrainian army? Mikhailo Drapati, is just that name ring any bells to you?
Not really, no. Well, I mean, I've heard of it, but heard of him, but I can't put a face to him. No.
All right. Okay. So well, let's slide to another question. Interesting to see North Korea and Russia are getting closer in a fiery passion, getting ready to, well, obviously revert the world order to its medieval dictatorship. First, Comrade Putin, then his Soviet defense minister of Russia, visited Pyongyang. My question is, how militarily capable are these two armies combined compared with collective West's military power? Well, if we, of course, consider the threshold of Scholzing tolerance is zero and collective West is actually ready to defend the values it preaches, what are the combat odds, you think?
I mean, if NATO decides it's going to have to fight Russia and North Korea, then the two of them together are no match for the West at all. Primarily because the quality of air power on the West side is just huge, and so many countries have got so many aircraft that can deliver huge amounts, and I think that the Americans would happily bring over some of their vast air force to deliver force, rockets, missiles from long distances away. And most of the aircraft, for example, on the Russian side, would never even see the aircraft that killed them. So it's an unbalanced fight if NATO has to fight, but if it's Ukraine and Russia together against just Ukraine soldiers fighting, then I'm sorry, but the balance is on the Russia and Ukraine side just because of sheer numbers. Their quality is low. They don't compare at all to our boys on the front line, but they outnumber us considerably. And that's the, mass has a quality all of its own. And,
Right,
and this is
absolutely.
what Russia's playing on.
Yeah, the cannon fodder. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, Russia terrorized Ukraine every single day. I mean, 150 drones yesterday, almost 200 today, missiles, rockets, ballistic missiles of middle range, and so on and so forth. Is that how Putin, the dictator, is getting ready to force peace negotiations that are highly likely to be forced? Is that the case?
I think so. I think not so much as forcing it. He's trying to get as much space as he can before the negotiations,
right? Well,
so that because he may be forced to give up something. Although personally, I don't think he will. I think his view is that he's doing extremely well. Thank you. Why should I stop now? And unless he actually attacks NATO, then he's proven to himself 50 times over that NATO is in his eyes cowardly and is not going to do anything. So he will not want to bring NATO into the equation. He just wants to keep pushing away at Ukraine in the way that he's doing at the moment. I don't think he'll want to stop.
And is NATO going to act if Putin is going at war with NATO?
I mean, if Putin goes to war with NATO, then NATO will act. There isn't any question about that. That nobody's got any choice. I mean, some people, it's actually some countries, it's actually inside the law that they have to. If one of their colleague countries is attacked, but I don't think that's the point, because I just don't think he's going to at the moment. Because why would he? He's got all the patience in the world to just keep plugging away at what he's doing, waiting for what I think he believes is going to be a breakthrough at some stage or another.
Yes, I also think that way. But I don't know any dictators. Well, I know them, but not personally. So why he would start this war is more or less clear. But now with the alliance with North Korea, who knows? But I mean, let's talk about Donald Trump. Well, some say the military aid is going to be cut, but Trump is not even yet in the office. And look at Europe. You look at them, at us. It is actually doing a lot, but UK and France are seriously talking about sending troops to Ukraine. Do you believe that this is possible? This is actually going to happen?
I think that this is what you could call a fallback step
Hmm.
if Trump actually pulls out. But having said that, they both of them quite likely to put troops into Ukraine for training. But we're not talking about big numbers if they do that. It will be the officers and sergeant majors of one battalion at most. We're not going to see thousands of troops on the ground. Neither country can afford to do it because of other commitments they've got. Other NATO commitments that they've got that also require the rule effectively is at least 3 battalions to deliver one. So if you've got one on the front line, you've got one in training and one resting, and that's the normal routine. And this is what we've been doing with Estonia, for example. So you've got one full battalion's worth of kit there, and then we'd need 2 more. So both countries will be very wary of committing themselves to too much at the moment. Right. But having said that, they've done it before.
Right.
Both countries have done this sort of thing before.
Right.
So it won't be the first time.
No.
It definitely won't be the first time.
Mr. Grant, is World War III imminent, do you think?
No, I think it's already started. I think we're making a mistake of thinking that. Well,
there we go.
And let's just look at all the facts and the facts of all the things that are going on. Cutting communication lines, blowing up things, of which there's quite a bit going on at the moment. And don't forget that Russia has been blowing up things since 2010, 2011 in Bulgaria with the arms dumps.
Right.
And then blowing up the arms dump in Czech Republic, overflying countries like Finland. And they about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, they flew 2 attack helicopters from Russia right into Finland. And before they got turned around and pushed out. They were going to build Russia was trying to build a forward operating base in Ireland for troops underground. And you know how big it was meant to be by the fact that on the plans that they submitted to Dublin City Council, there were 26 toilets. Now, 26 toilets is 400 or 500 people. So they were looking at doing something serious there. All these things have been going on all the time, and they're degrading us. And at the same time, they are buying up politicians as fast as they can for state capture. Look at Romania this week. Now, you can't tell me those things don't count, because they do. They are the very essence. They are the very essence of the war that is going on.
Absolutely.
It's just more subtle than anything we've ever been in before. So when you talk to people, you talk to Americans, and they talk about, will World War III come? They only think of the military, the fighting aspect. But the fighting aspect is just a part of this. In fact, you might almost say that Ukraine is a distraction.
Right.
You could look at it as a distraction from all the other things that they're doing, whose aim is state capture of any country that they can, breaking up the European Union and breaking up NATO in order to change the world order so that it's a power-based order. It's not a law-based order, which we've had since the Second World War. They're doing very well, thank you.
Mr. Grant, thank you so very much. Again, it is a great pleasure to talk to you. Hope to be doing that in the nearest future. Again, thank you.
Thank you as well.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Slava Ukraina.
Героям слава. Well, that will be all, folks. My name is Rooney Keane. We are UATV English, doing our best to deliver hard truth in easy terms for the whole free world directly from Ukraine. Please don't be shy. Like, share and comment. Your voice matters as it helps Ukrainian voice to be heard globally. So stay safe and tune for more in a weekly episode. Goodbye.